Good evening, Healdsburg Junior High School parents and other attendees. Welcome to our virtual back to school night. Hopefully this is the first and last time we have to do this. So I'm Principal Chris Miller, and we're going to have our HJH leadership team with us tonight to help us present some of these slides. For tonight, let me go ahead and share our presentation. All right. Panelists, can you see the presentation? All right, great. All right, so our agenda tonight, we're going to look at distance learning, the schedule and attendance expectations. We're also going to discuss online expectations and etiquette, including Zoom, discuss a couple areas of technical support, go over our grading policy, how to contact teachers and other staff members, and office hours, and lastly, student supports. So without any further ado, our Monday schedule will be presented by Ms. Guig.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Cynthia Guig. I teach 6th grade English as well as 7th and 8th grade Spanish. I'm just going to go over our Monday schedule briefly. Our Monday is really used to check in with students. It's a 10-minute, we have 10-minute classes which go by very quickly. We will be assigning a half an hour's worth of asynchronous work that day that your child will have to complete. As well. And really, like I said, it's just a way to touch base, say good morning, and to have a great week, and go on to the next one. And during the afternoon, we will have office hours, which I'll speak about a little later.
Thank you, Ms. Guig. Yeah, so our Mondays are quite a bit different than the rest of our schedule. And I will bring that up now, and Ms. Murphy will be telling us about the rest of our weekly schedule.
Hi, I'm Miss Murphy, and I am the 6th grade science teacher, as well as one of the robotics teachers and the mechanical engineering teacher. Our schedule is broken up into block days after Monday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are all block days. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we will see all of the odd classes. So those are periods 1, 3, 5, and 7. And on days Wednesday and Friday, we will see periods 2, 4, and 6. Each period is an hour long, with the hopes of the first half hour at least being synchronous time, so live, active class time on Zoom or Google Meet. And then the second half of the period would be asynchronous, so independent work that is given from the teacher that the student would then complete on their own. So on Tuesdays, 1, 3, 5, time for some lunch, and then period 7. And then Wednesdays and Fridays, 2, 4, 6 with a lunch period. And then after lunch, all teachers have an office hour, so students can log in and talk with their teachers about things that they need.
Great, thank you, Ms. Murphy. All right, and for our schedule and expectations, our schedule and attendance expectations, Ms. La Rosa.
Hi, my name is Mrs. La Rosa, and I teach math intervention, HH English 2, and directed studies. And so our schedule attendance expectations are that attending Zoom sessions is required. It's equivalent to coming to a class every day. So we want to see all of our students. If your child cannot attend their Zoom session for some reason, just please contact their teacher. Email is the best way to do that. Or you can also call the HH office at 707-431-3410. And then students who are unable to attend a Zoom session for any reason, they'll have an opportunity to make up their assignments that they may have missed.
Great, thank you. And I neglected to say this at the beginning. I apologize. Para los que están escuchando y quieren escuchar en español, si va abajo y mira el icono que se parece como un globo que dice interpretación, puede hacer un clic allí y elegir Spanish o en español y puede escuchar el resto de la junta en español. Y perdóname por no haber dicho eso desde antes. All right, our next slide, online expectations and etiquette, Mr. Dan Owen.
Hi, my name is Daniel Owen, and I teach world history for 7th grade and also leadership this year. So there are some important expectations that really help class move along during Zoom sessions and online learning. The first one is to be a few minutes early. I know most teachers will allow students to enter the waiting room, and that way the classroom kind of gets populated before letting everybody move in. And it really helps to allow class to start on time. That way we can use as much of that class time as possible. And we're not spending our time trying to go back and do attendance afterwards. Also, turning on your video is very important. It allows there to be a classroom community and allows your student to get the most out of class as possible. And many teachers are really urging students to turn on their videos. Keeping yourself muted when you're not participating in the discussion is also very important because there's always a lot of background noise that can filter in, and a teacher can mute you, but then it distracts from the actual lesson that's going on. We ask that our students address appropriately for school. That way they are ready for learning, and it helps build a good learning environment, even if they are at home. We would like students to use their first and last names that show up in the Zoom window. It's very beneficial for the teacher to know who's in the classroom, especially if you're trying to find the person who's talking, if someone is participating in part of a discussion. It also helps with taking attendance. So if someone does enter late, we can see who entered the Zoom sessions. And if they don't use their name, then it won't show up in that roster. And of course, we really would ask our students to be respectful to one another, especially during group work and conversations that are taking place during class. That way everyone feels respected and confident in their learning.
Great, thank you, Mr. Owen. All right, so the question of technical support. What do I do if we need help? Our Chromebook isn't working, our camera isn't working, something to that effect. So because we're in distance learning, it is really, really essential, more so than in regular times, to make sure that our technology is working appropriately, because that's the only way we have to connect with students. So parents, students, you can drop by the HAH library on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 1 to 2:30 for any minor issue you might have. This could be a password trouble, something that you're still able to participate in class maybe, but giving you a little bit of trouble. If you have a more serious concern, Chromebook is not turning on. It has no functionality whatsoever. You cannot do school without your Chromebook. We ask that you come in as soon as possible, anytime between 8 and 3 p.m. so we can get that immediately resolved for you. Also, feel free to email the teacher if it's possible to do so with your device to let them know if there is any technical issue you're having. So for example, there were some kids that were having a difficulty getting on Zoom. They could still email their teachers, but Zoom for some reason wasn't working. If that's the case, please email the teacher, let them know you're trying to get on so we know that. And if the email isn't working either, you could always call the school, 707-431-3410, and we would be happy to let teachers know that your child is having issues getting in, and try to work to resolve this as quickly as possible. As for Zoom itself, there have been a few questions parents have had about how do I figure out where my kid needs to go to get into their Zoom session. We're trying, it's kind of all over the place. Some teachers have it at the very top, some teachers have it other places. So I'm trying to find what is the absolute easiest way for students and parents both to be able to get into their Zoom sessions. So I've taken a screenshot of a student schedule here. This would be in Aries, so the easiest way is to go through the Aries student account. And if you look at that section where I've put the red arrow above it, it says meeting. And if you simply click on join, that will take you directly into the Zoom session for any teacher. Right next to it, the website. If you saw where it says visit website, that'll take you to the Google Classroom page for each of those teachers. But specifically for Zoom in meeting, hit join, and that should take you straight to the teacher's Zoom session. All right. Up next, we have our grading policy, and to tell us a little bit more about that, Ms. Hurtado.
Hello, I'm Ms. Hurtado. I teach Math 8, Integrated Math 1, and 8th grade AVID. And so just a little bit about our grading policy. We know that, there could be those technical difficulties. I think really the message of tonight is communicate with your teacher as much as possible. It's super important that we get the message of what's going on with your student. But a couple of key points about our grading policy is if students are absent, they absolutely have the right to complete any missing work. We also give them one additional day for each absence in order to complete that missing work. And then again, they'll receive full credit. And so those are for students who are absent. As far as maybe your student wasn't absent, but maybe missed an assignment, they have until Friday, December 11th to get at least half credit with satisfactory work. And then our last point is it's up to the student to be responsible for requesting late or missing work. So just make sure that your child communicates with your teacher. That's super important.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ms. Hurtado. All right, so going over how best to contact teachers and other staff members, Mr. Travis.
All right, my name is Travis Taylor, PE teacher. Contacting teachers and staff members. When should you do this? Anytime you need assistance or have a question about class assignments, technical issues, attendance, grading. So any questions at all, please get into contact. You'll receive contact back via email or phone call within 2 days at an absolute maximum as far as time goes. And if you're unsure who to contact, if it's not a direct question for a teacher, Lisa Lycea is kind of our go-to, the school secretary. Her email is right there, llycea@husd.com, and she will make sure that it gets to who it needs to get to.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. I think I called you Mr. Travis at the beginning. My apologies.
No problem, Mr. Miller.
All right. Teacher office hours. Ms. Guig is going to explain a little bit more here.
Yeah, so in terms of all of this communication, we're saying how important it is to keep communication with your teacher. We know that while teachers are teaching, while students are in class, it's difficult. So we have office hours built into our schedule. So as I mentioned, our Mondays are shorter days. And so we have every Monday, this window from 12:50 to 3:20 where we can talk to students via email, via phone, talk to parents if you want to schedule a Zoom session. These are times for communication built into our schedule, and we're so grateful for them. We also have every Wednesday and Friday, as Ms. Murphy mentioned, from 1:30 to 2:30 to reach out to teachers. Again, email, calls, Zoom sessions to help with homework, to help with classwork, to ask something that, any question that you may have, that's what that's for. So please, please reach out, and we are happy to schedule any type of meeting during these times.
Thank you, Ms. Guig. And one of the hallmarks that we normally have of back to school night is the ability for parents to come in and get to know their child's teachers. So we don't have that in the same traditional sense tonight or so far this school year. So the best way to do that, to make sure that you're able to connect, would be to make an appointment and schedule a time to meet virtually during one of these times that teachers have reserved for their office hours. All right, for student supports, explaining what we have in the works there, our school counselor, Ms. Carlson.
Hi everyone, my name is Bethany Carlson. I am the school counselor here at HJH, and I'm just going to briefly go over some of the student supports we offer here. So if your student is struggling in a class, might need academic support, the best way to start to get help with that is by contacting their teacher. If your student has an IEP, you would also want to contact their case manager. Let's say that the student is continuing to struggle in one or more classes. You can contact me and maybe we can discuss some potential barriers that are affecting their learning. And along with academic counseling, I also offer short-term counseling for personal and social issues. And the best way to contact me if you have any questions, concerns, is email, which is right here, bcarlson@husd.com. I'm happy to set up a Zoom or a phone meeting with you after that. And another resource you have as parents is my HJH counseling page. It's on the website. And there's parent resources, student resources. You can request counseling for your student there as well. And because I don't get to have students just walk right into my office so far this year, I've created a Google Classroom counseling page. So all students have access to it. And here is where my virtual counseling, virtual office is posted, and students can request counseling there. There's tons of resources on there for mental health, crisis, yeah, I hope they all check it out. And let's see, the final thing is we really want to address social emotional wellness for all of our students. So we are having the PE department push out a curriculum called Why Try. And they will be pushing this out very soon. But the main focus of it is teaching lessons to build our students' social, emotional life skills. So your students will be hearing more about that very soon. And I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Carlson. All right. As a parent, if you are interested in staying informed about what's happening at HJH, sorry, there are a few avenues for doing that. So through Aries, we send out our emails, our text messages, and our and other parent communications. Most things that we are able to push out through Aries, we also post on Facebook. There's a lot of information that parents can get, including a weekly summary through Google Classroom. And we will continue to send out the robocalls and our, as well as our newsletters and other information via our HJH newsletter. So lots of things, lots of ways that you can stay informed. There are also Instagram pages. One is going to be set up through student leadership. And these are the best ways to stay informed about what's happening at HHH. Hopefully, you have all been receiving a plethora of communications to start the year. If you are not receiving communications for one reason or another, and you feel that this is an error, please contact us. Usually it has to do with the way that you have selected to receive information in Aries, and we are not intentionally keeping anything from anyone, I promise you. So if you are joining us here tonight, you probably received information either via Aries or Facebook, and so hopefully you will continue to stay informed. But again, we're all here for you if you have any questions or concerns as they come up throughout the year. All right, that is going to conclude our HJH Back to School Night. I want to thank everyone for joining us. I want to thank our awesome HJH leadership team for helping us to disseminate this information tonight. And hopefully we will see you guys all soon. Thanks.